Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the most important and thought-provoking stories shaping South Africa and the world. Today, we are diving into a major political and social event taking place this weekend, EFF Land Reclamation Day, a significant date on the calendar of the economic freedom fighters. This year's event, set for April 6, 2025, will be held at Sophiatown Extreme Park in Johannesburg, and will feature a powerful keynote address by none other than the President and Commander-in-Chief of the EFF, Julius Malema. Land Reclamation Day is far more than just another gathering. It's a deeply symbolic and politically charged occasion, rooted in the painful legacy of colonial dispossession and apartheid land theft in South Africa. The event is expected to draw thousands of supporters and even more attention from critics, the media, and the broader public. At the heart of it all is the urgent call for land restitution, the return of land to Black South Africans who were historically stripped of it by force, by law, and by design. This year's event carries extra weight as it comes at a time when frustrations are mounting over the slow pace of land reform in South Africa. The EFF has long positioned itself as the vanguard of radical economic transformation, and land is at the center of its political platform. Julius Malema has consistently been one of the loudest voices advocating for the expropriation of land without compensation, a policy that has sparked both fervent support and fierce opposition. Now, before we go further, let's take a moment to understand the deeper historical and political context behind Land Reclamation Day. South Africa's land issue didn't start in 1994, or even in the 20th century. It dates back centuries, to the arrival of European colonial powers who systematically took land from indigenous communities. During apartheid, these policies were intensified under laws like the Natives Land Act of 1913, which restricted black people from owning land in the majority of the country. This policy of legalized land theft left millions of black South Africans landless, marginalized, and economically disempowered. Fast forward to 2025, and the reality is sobering. Despite nearly 3 decades of democracy, land ownership in South Africa remains heavily skewed. The vast majority of arable land is still in the hands of a small minority, predominantly white, and the promises of transformation have not materialized for many. This is exactly what the EFF seeks to highlight and challenge during Land Reclamation Day. Now, let's talk about Julius Malema, the man at the helm of the EFF. Known for his firebrand style and uncompromising rhetoric, Malema has been vocal in denouncing what he sees as the failures of the ruling ANC government to adequately address the land issue. He's repeatedly stated that economic freedom is impossible without land, and that any true emancipation for black South Africans must include the return of land without the burden of financial compensation to those who benefited from apartheid. In recent speeches, Malema has warned that the patience of the people is wearing thin. He argues that the slow pace of reform is not just an economic issue, but a moral crisis, a betrayal of the liberation struggle and the very principles of justice and equality that democracy was meant to bring. Land Reclamation Day is therefore not just a political rally, it's a call to action. It's a declaration that the issue of land will not be silenced or forgotten. It's about demanding that the government take bold, decisive steps to correct a historical injustice that continues to shape the lives of millions today. But the event is also likely to reignite controversy. Critics of the EFF argue that their land policies are too radical and potentially destabilizing. Some warn that expropriation without compensation could scare off investors, damage the agricultural sector, and lead to food insecurity. Others believe the party is using the issue for political gain, without offering clear and realistic plans for how land redistribution would be implemented. Despite the criticism, the EFF has maintained a strong base of support, particularly among young people, the working class, and those in rural areas who feel left behind by the current system. For many, Land Reclamation Day is not just about land, it's about dignity, identity, and the fight for true equality. This weekend's address by Julius Malema will be closely watched, not only by South Africans, but by political analysts, activists, and stakeholders around the world. What he says, and how he says it, could shape the national conversation on land for months to come, especially as we approach the next national election. Now, to wrap up, whether you support the EFF or not, Land Reclamation Day is a reminder that the struggle for justice in South Africa is far from over. It challenges us to confront the uncomfortable truths of our past, and to ask serious questions about the kind of society we want to build moving forward. The issue of land cuts to the core of who we are as a country, and how we reconcile with our history. Thanks for watching today's in-depth breakdown. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What are your thoughts on the EFF's stance on land reform? Do you think land should be expropriated without compensation? Let us know, we'd love to hear from you. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and as always, see you next time.